I've often talked in my videos about um, the respect I have for Joe Biden and how I believe Joe Biden isn't given a fair shake. It isn't about it isn't about being a neoliberal. It isn't about overlooking the '94 crime bill or the other heinous things that Biden has been a part of. He's friends with a Klansman back in the day. It's not about any of those things. But recognize the Republican Party is not treating Biden right. They're not treating him fair. The impeachment scandal and all this. I still don't really understand what that's about, why they want to impeach him, other than, well, you impeach our president, we'll go after yours. I mean, I think that most Americans can see that for what it is. That's like kids on a playground. That's not what adults do in politics. That's what, if you want to buy time and 6 months from now, a year from now, I get it. But what they've done with the stuff they've done with the son is they've really given the game away, and they've really shown that this is about pettiness. Throwing Nancy Pelosi out of her office. This is about pettiness, nothing else. This is about pettiness and me getting back at you and revenge and it's like just like goddamn second graders on the playground. That's all. If the point is to say like, okay, like we're professional, we're serious, and Democrats are not, they failed in that. They failed in that big time. So I woke up this morning. We know about the terrorist attacks took place last night by Hamas on Israel, and many people that were killed. It was over 1,000, might be 1,600 that were injured, might be more than that now. I don't look at the numbers now. Pretty bad, pretty bad. And we were wondering last night how this would be responded to by Israel. What would be the response? What would be the, ultimately someone's got to pay for it. We know about Israel's, what was it, cast lead back in the day and protective edge. These are all incursions the Israeli army has had into Gaza, into Palestine. Real, incursion. So this morning I look and I see that they shot up a rave. That Israeli soldiers drove up in cars, drove up, and just started killing people. Started gunning down people and killing them out in the road. That there was, as I said, it was a rave of young people out there. Started killing them. And for some reason, I started thinking about that. Of course, it's ethnic cleansing. No doubt about it. This is wrong. It's wrong now. But I started thinking about the fact that, what would I do if I was Joe Biden? And one thing I could think of is I would immediately want to go on television. Come in and get my face right, hey, smooth me out, I put another suit jacket on. I gotta get on him right now. I have to. These acts these acts of genocide. And they're wrong. And we wholeheartedly detest them and we remove ourselves from it, and we call it out for what it is. It's crimes. Killing innocent people who've done no wrong. Shooting them from the cars. It's gangsterism. And I'll be honest, last night, wondering about what Israel's response was going to be. I did think it was going to be some type of wholesale attacks. Like we're going to put the big bombs in Gaza. I did think it'd be just wholesale slaughter. I did believe that when I went to bed last night. I did think about that. That hey, this, a lot of people are going to pay. Because remember before, a protective edge? They were like bombing police stations and killing off entire police departments. The Palestinian Authority or whatever. That's the police. I mean, these are people who go along with Israel. These are like the Judenrat. These are like the Nazis had Jews that, if you were a Jew and you needed like help on something like a window fix in the ghetto, you had to go to the Judenrat. That's what that is. They killed those people. They killed a lot of innocent people that were collaborators to the Israeli, I guess the cause, whatever you call it. Did it back then. What will they do now? I think it was like some Israeli soldiers that went over there and got kidnapped or something back then. This is obviously way worse than that. Way worse. This was killing civilians in a large amount. A lot of people were wondering. A lot of people have said maybe this was because of the political trouble over there, that this might have been something that happened, that they shot more missiles in a month, in one day, and no one really knew about it, that Israel should have known, that America should have known. I don't know about that. I haven't looked that much into it, and I probably won't. But I will say that I did think it'd be a lot worse. And I think that would be better, though. If Israel launched, if they said, look, we put it in full package. Once it's in, where it will go, we don't know. If they did that, they could at least say, well, we saw targets you didn't. And maybe some of those targets were wrong. But strategically, we did hit. And they can always lie. They can lie and say this was a bomb maker. This here was this guy. We did get some people we wanted. If they got one person out of 100, they could say at least we. But this gunning people down from cars is the very epitome and definition of gangsterism. And I think that ultimately it makes America look bad. Like I said, I don't want Joe Biden's job. I know you have to play the game. I know America's relationship with Israel. I get it. I know, I understand all that. But if I was the president, I would go on TV this morning. As soon as I got this meeting, give me on TV. This is wrong. This is wrong, man. You can't do this. These are crimes. Shooting from cars. And they can go back. Do you know now people like me can go back and they can look on them cameras and shit. They can see the trucks, and they can see it's the Israeli army truck, and they can get the bullet shells and do ballistics and shit. Bruh, maybe they don't care. So I think the Israeli army doesn't really care about war crimes and evidence of genocide. But this is genocide. And these are crimes. This is indiscriminate murder. You can't make a case for anything other than this was about payback and murder. And as I said, I'm glad I don't have the president's job. It's weird, as I get older, there have been a lot of things where I think about that. And I'm glad I'm not the president. You know why? Because I'll do the right thing. And I realize now that the world don't want the right thing and Americans don't want the right thing. That's why they pick Trump. They don't want the right thing. The right thing is not valuable for the Republican Party or for many other people. The Republican Party does not care about science. Science is something that is totally inconvenient to their politics. And that was always a long time coming. But they've gotten to the point now to where they're not even arguing about the science. They're saying climate change is good for Wisconsin, and climate change is good for, what did MTG say, that you'll have more food and warmer winters? Yeah, and you have stronger hurricanes. Yeah. You have stronger hurricanes, certain areas, Florida and stuff, will be uninhabitable. You're going to have a lot of illegal immigration. You have a lot of immigration because areas become uninhabitable. I mean, do they, I have to ask, do they think that they're going to make Georgia and Wisconsin and other right-wing states into fortresses? Are they going to turn these states into fucking Handmaid's Tales? Little mini, we're going to just create a little area here. We'll put sandbags and barbed wire up, and we're going to be well, the winter isn't as cold as it used to be here. Yeah, guess what? I saw something last night. They're saying there's malaria in Arkansas. Yeah. That's what climate change is. We're going to get a whole lot more diseases we didn't get 100 years ago. We're going to get a whole lot more disease, more plague. Looking at that, they had a death from plague, I believe, in Washington State a couple months ago. Yeah, that's how this works. You're going to get a lot more diseases, unusual, strange diseases that don't really belong in certain areas. But because of climate change, see, when you pay attention, you watch, you realize that these things, that ain't supposed to happen. But because the climate has changed, it makes us more vulnerable to certain things. I realize that if you don't believe in science, you don't care about it, that misses you. Anyway, I just think that what Israel did was wrong. As a man, I'd have to come out and immediately speak against it and call it out in the strongest terms. These are acts of terrorism, and that you know, as I get older, I understand that, what it means to be legitimate for the office. Doesn't mean I'm perfect, but I don't understand if I was going into public office, what it means and being professional and being somewhat faultless to driven snow. And that means that when bad things come across your attention, you have a duty to speak out against it. Because if you don't, it kind of becomes a moral thing on you. That's how it works. Like, I'd rather not know about something than learn about something that I have to do something about. I understand. I guess some things you shouldn't see, you shouldn't hear, you shouldn't talk about. But if you do hear about it, you have a duty to act on it. And depending on what the White House says, they can't do what I would do. They can't speak out against these crimes, these heinous crimes Israeli military has committed today. But they should morally, this is wrong. Bombing civilians is wrong, but shooting people, if that happened here in America, what would we do? If some God forbid something like that happened, we would call it what it is. We call it terrorism. We would call it, a mass murder, spree killing. This is about, we probably say it was racially motivated killing. Thanks for listening.